Fog of War off. Yeah.
Yep. Oh no, you Fog of War on. Because we watch it from your perspective.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. All right, you ready?
Yep, ready.
Cool. Here we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Are we in sync?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode 2 of the Masterclass Series. This is, of course, a delayed Series 2 because the original one with HelpingHans unfortunately corrupted, and we are, of course, replacing it now with this from the GCS. So with me today, I have the one and only HelpingHans. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, yes, very good. And thank you for doing this again, because I know that actually the last one was really good. And
that's a shame, yeah.
It was a shame, yeah, and it was a British one, I think, which people wanted to see as well. So but we can't control when these things happen. We're just going to move on with it. So today, this is a replay from the Grand Championship Series, a tournament that we're running at the moment, and this is your opening round game, your opening round series versus ICAB.
Yeah, it is. This is the second game in the series. First game not going too well in my favour at all. But I'm trying to redeem myself here because I lost the first game quite badly due to a silly mistake at the start, and I couldn't get out from my base, unfortunately. But anyway, on to the game that we have at hand.
Absolutely. So I've got a couple of questions for you. The first one that I want to ask you is, what is this strategy as OKW? What are you aiming for, and what's the kind of build that we're looking at?
Well, with OKW, you want to go. I mean, the people wonder if the Cube Wagon is a necessary build in the OKW at the moment, but depending on the situation, on this map, I like getting the Cube Wagon out to go and capture the north-hand side because it normally it can capture the side in the north without being hindered. As most allied players will try and focus south side and slowly cap up there. So that means you can get a Cube Wagon in the north to cap up, and then you probably want to go for maybe at least 4 Vox Grenadiers. I would always recommend going for at least 4 Vox before teching. And you want to get your third Vox Grenadier squad, or rather your second Vox Grenadier squad, to go straight to the middle because your opponent possibly could be rushing that middle house, and you want to be able to get into that house before your opponent does. Okay.
Okay. So I mean, I'm looking at the map right now. ICAB seems quite slow to the field here, to be honest. I don't know if everybody really gets this kind of a lead in. It looks like he's playing Soviets, so maybe they're building a tier. It's slow to the field. So one thing, just before we get too far ahead, I noticed at the start you took your Stern Pioneers to the right-hand side. You start terraforming, by building wire and covering off points. So just talk a little bit about why you cut this area, and even though that you've wired it off, why you're covering the green cover spots.
Having this cover is incredibly important for who controls that munitions point. And I've also wired off the little gap there so enemy infantry can't flank through the area. Basically, it makes it a lot easier for me to control that munitions point as my opponent is forced to go around the long way. And if I have a unit garrison inside the house, they can't use the cover against me to shoot me out.
Okay. So you've spotted it's tier 2 at the moment, tier 2 Soviets. Now, does this affect your play right now when you've seen the Maxim there? Does this affect your build? I see you going for the 4 Volks. You had that in your mind already?
No, I will very likely still go 4 Volks, no matter what my opponent is and no matter what faction they are or the strategy, because it's just what you do as OKW. You need that infantry presence.
Okay.
However, it will affect my late attacking. I'm possibly thinking, is it a good idea to go for a flak half-track now when he could just get a Zizgon straight away? Because most players as Soviets lately go straight for penals. And going for the flak half-track against penals is not a bad play at all because he hasn't got anything, like, he can't get an anti-tank out to counter it because, a flak half-track gets two-shotted by an anti-tank gun. So it's, whereas a Panzer II I think takes 3.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And I guess maybe you don't think the threat of the PTRS upgrade is too hard.
No, for the PTR, like, as soon as you manage to suppress that PTRS squad, it becomes useless, really. And as long as you've got your Stern Pioneers nearby, you can repair any damage very quickly that the PTRS rifle does. And once that PTR, like I say, when it's suppressed, it's not going to be doing too much damage. You can get your infantry up to clean it off and push it back, and then you know, at the start of a game, you'll only ever be dealing with one PCRS rifle squad at most. And if he goes for the 2, he's in trouble because then he's not got much anti-infantry presence. That's the problem if you go for 2.
I was just about to say that the infantry capabilities are kind of dampened when they're carrying the PTRS around, so it's not always the best in terms of AT. Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, most players don't get this kind of map control at the start of the game, I would say, especially against Soviets, but you find yourself on the left-hand side of the map here. I mean, would you say that your kind of resources, what you could be protecting, is kind of the northern side of the map here? Would you call that Axis resources for? For this map, north side is Axis resources. It's a lot easier to control, as I mentioned earlier with the, you know, if you barbed wire off that side correctly, you can really limit your opponent's flanking maneuvers. Also, because you can, you know, it's quite wide and open, you can see them coming from a while away. Whereas in the south side, you know, you've got these hedgerows to contend with. You don't know if a conscript is lurking around the corner, and it's worth noting that, you know, allied factions tend to do a lot better in close quarters combat, and the south side benefits allies a lot more than the north side, in my opinion. Okay. So I mean, I'm just going to ask you the question, like, why are we fighting kind of on the south side at the moment? What's the idea here? Because a lot of your forces are pulled south. You see, you're losing the VP, you're losing the strategic cutoff. So is this a mistake? Would you say that this was a mistake to not be present up there?
I think, you know, we're kind of trading resources. So I'm not too worried about losing the north hand side. And I know I can, you know, because he's overextended with these Maxims, right? He's going to have to pull back and retreat. If he gets the Maxim in the house, I can just lob a incendiary grenade over the hedge, which I do in a moment. Forces him back. You know, I can sit behind this green cover, and the Maxims aren't going to be able to do too much. I won't be able to get suppressed as easy.
Okay, so I mean, it's still quite confident for you, and like you said, you are putting the resource pressure. Offense is often the best defense, so you know you're at least pulling units away on that side. Let's talk a little bit about your choice here. You've gone for the battle grouper. You immediately went for the field medics, the healing for your infantry. Now you're going for the half track. So let's just talk about this, because you did mention before about the potential of having the Zis gun on the field, but you're still going to make that selection. So let's just talk about that. Yeah,
I feel like for a map like Firma, I know the Zis gun can only be at one place at one time. You know, so I mean, I can dominate the north or I can dominate the south, because the Zis gun, you know, like it can either be north or south. So having the flat gun out is enabling me to dominate at least one side. Because it's quite mobile, I can quickly change sides with the black half trick, depending on where the Zis gun is, to dominate one side or the other. So that's my reasoning behind going for, still going for the flat gun, even though I did previously mention that, you know, I'm worried about a Zis gun. And I also wanted the healing as well, since my stern pioneers were rather full, and I didn't want to retreat them back to drop the med kits down, as they're, you know, one of the key units to try and hold that territory. You know, and also want to, you know, I've got a mine down there, so they can help keep quiet mines to further increase my control. Here we see my flat half track immediately going north. And also my Kuba wagon, you know, is quite effective against Maxims, because it can quickly drive around the side and flank them. So with a quick 1-2, I've been easily able to push him completely off the north-hand side. And, you know, I've still got some territories in the south, so I've still got most, you know, decent map control.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So the map itself has kind of dictated the selection here. I mean, do you find that Battle Grouper is something you always go for as OKW, or would you say that, you know, is there one that you prefer to play? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean,
just explain this as well. Sorry, just while this is happening on screen with the flat half track.
I'm hitting the ground there because it's a very common spot for mines. A lot of people plant mines there, and I'm trying to use the flat half track to blow up any potential mine that might be there. So my Volks can happily cap it without, you know, losing models. And for going for the flat half track, yeah, like, you know, map selection. I mean, the last time I went Panzer 2 on this map, it really didn't pay off for me very well. You know, I mean, because as soon as the enemy's going to see a Panzer 2, they're going to either retreat, and it's not going to really do too much. You can't really chase the squad down with the Panzer 2 on this map because of the, you know, the tight little alleyways you've got around, you know, the south side. Potential mine could be there in the, you know, on the south side there between the two hedgerows and the munitions point. Around the back of the church there could be a mine, but at least with the flat half track I've got a suppression platform, and I can constantly be having it forward, reversing it back, and it's a very good way to help me maintain control of that central cutoff point. Whereas a machine gun, I'm going to have to turn it, and if I turn it, he's going to be able to flank me. You can't really flank a flat half track because I can quickly just turn, because it's got 360-degree line of fire.
I was actually just looking at how effective the flak half track was at dealing with the green cover sandbags. They're actually doing a lot of damage against those, so very beneficial against Soviets. You've just seen the conscripts there pushing forward. You've got the Raketin. So this Raketin, the timing of this, just explain. I mean, what are you expecting to see right now? And
well, you normally expect a T-70 around the 8-minute mark. 8 to 10 minute mark, so it's my safety net really to have the Raketin there. It's covering the flat calf. If you just decide to rush me, the Raketin is there to help out, I can't afford to lose that, so I need to keep the Raketin there nearby.
Okay, yeah, it's good to actually talk about the timings. I think that's really important for players. A lot of people that kind of watch this and want to learn. You need to know the timings of when things are likely to come on the field so that you can make sure you are protected and covered. Because there's too many people that would reach for another Volksgrenadier and be surprised when the T-70 comes out. So
and a high
good knowledge there, really.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in a high stakes game like this, especially because it's a tournament GCS game. And then in the first round, if you lose this, you're not going to get any points at all, so it's horrible. I also noticed my opponent planting a mine here, rather a demolition charge on the church there, with the cloak Raketin. So I'm going to be avoiding that. If I hadn't had the Raketin in that forward position, I would not spot that, and I probably could have, lost an entire squad to that demolition charge.
Yeah.
Also in the north, we see
PPSH
has been teched. So I now know his commander selection for sure. I mean, we already saw, I think, a guard squad as well. So it's kind of, and this commander from ICAB is incredibly common right now in the meta. So I'm pretty sure what he's gone.
Yeah. So this actually leads me to an interesting point. Whilst we've got some time, you say, I mean, this is a very common commander with the current meta right now. What's kind of the weakness of OKW kind of compared to the Soviets? Where do Soviets have advantage over OKW?
I believe their T-70 is a lot more effective than the Panzer II, and considering that the T-70, can do two jobs in regards to it can do very well against light vehicles, and its counterpart, the Panzer II. In a one-on-one engagement, the Panzer II will lose to a T-70. So, the OKW player is forced to possibly go for the Puma and forced to go for the anti-tank gun to have a proper chance against the T-70 once it comes out. So that's probably their weakness there. I would say, the fact that the Raketins don't have any armor on them. Yes, they got the bonus of being cloaked and stuff, which is great. But they're very susceptible to machine guns. And they will die very quickly, and you got to watch out for it. Even if you a tank directly fired on a Raketin, it's got a good chance to wipe it. So I guess that's probably the disadvantage of OKW there.
Let's tier 4 position. So this has just started going up, and this isn't in the classic position. That's maybe a little south of that, covering the decap. You actually look like you're covering fuel and the kind of strategic decap. So. This is interesting. I mean, do you feel like it's more vulnerable because of the openness to the right-hand side now? This kind of flank up here. I mean,
I think it's putting it where it is, where it's covering the fuel point and the cutoff. Is a very good spot. It's very hard to get a mortar to bombard that from. You have to move up right in front of the church to be able to get a mortar to bombard that. So having it far back like that, it's quite nice. It's a safe spot. It's covering more. I mean, you could have it further back, being defensive across the road near your base, but it would only be covering one strategic sector then. And, it's also covering an infantry flanking route around the north side as well. Yeah. So I feel like this is, I think quite a few players, OKW players, will put the Schwer in this location if you watch, if anyone here is watching other OKW games on this map.
I think you've actually explained it well there about the mortar, because, Soviets mortars, indirect fire, just in general, crazy. So, actually, that's a really good point, because in this position, you normally find that there's something by the church or otherwise hidden behind the hedgerow that can get shots on it, and ultimately, even with the AT guns, get up there. So this is interesting. You maybe force your opponent to play quite far up the map in the north, or overextend with tanks. So That's interesting. I like that you're still getting use out of the flat half track as well. Really good use on this side. So, okay, let's have a look whilst we have a minute. So your commander select. You haven't picked a commander at the moment. You know what your opponent is playing. So, what are your ideas for a commander? Like, what are you thinking about at the moment?
At this point in time, I'm pretty sure he's gone for this commander. So I know KV1s are a potential. And the best thing against KV1s is a Command Panther or a Jagdpanzer. But a Command Panther would be better in this instance because obviously it has the marked target ability, so you can get the extra damage off once you've applied it onto your opponent. And also the Panther is fairly decent against doing damage to infantry as well, whereas the Jagdpanzer is not. I've still gone for my tier structure because I know this. I've got 7 CPs at this point in the game, and it's going to, by the time I've got enough for the Command Panther, I feel like I've got, I'll have even more than that. If that makes sense. I'll have a lot more. But yeah, that Zizgun barrage in the middle was very accurate and almost wiped one of my squads, unfortunately. Managing to just get out there in time. I also, on the south side, before I saw there was engineers there, so I quickly popped on the sweepers and then turned them back off, just so I could spot if there was a mine there. And there was, so I managed to avoid that. So it's a very, recommended thing to do. When you always push forward with your sweepers with your stern pioneers with sweeper first, then swap back once it's clear.
Yeah.
And also, it's worth noting that I knew the Zizgun was in the south side, so now I've brought my flak half track in the north to try and engage the enemy infantry.
Oh yeah, because so you see the barrage, and then you're like, right, okay, you're banking on him not investing in another AT gun. That would be silly, perhaps. So okay, yeah, that's cool. I can see. Yeah, I mean, you can see the movement with the flak half track. I wish there was some kind of app or internal program that would track unit positions across. Do you know what I mean? Across the map, like their movements for the game. It'd be interesting to see.
Ah, yes, I've seen some of those programs before.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see like the actual movement of a lot of units here. But I am actually just picking out. So a lot of your positioning with the machine guns has been very good. I'm actually having a look at the angles. There's a very wide angle with the MG34 actually. So you cover the whole of the VP, the green cover positions, the kind of close corridor entry from the church. Really good. And you've got your second Raketten as well. So clearly, I mean, we haven't seen that T70 that you were looking at.
Yes, because I know it's like, like I say, we said 8 to 10 minutes T70 comes out, so I'm like, he's got enough fuel for a T70 for sure by now, so I'm expecting fast tier 4, so that's why I got the second Raketten out, so I can prepare for the KV1s, which I do expect to come out soon. And I've got, I was trying both Rakettens, one for the mid and one for the north to cover both angles.
Okay, so I mean, at this point, fairly confident something is up, and you defend yourself good. LEIG. Now, I find this one actually interesting. This is because of the Maxims.
I made it because he had a lot of support weapons, and I wanted a way to, I think that's one of the problems with OKW. Their basic indirect fire is not very good. The Zizgun's just one shot at my MG, by the way, there with a very lucky shot. But the LEIG. It's not very good. It's probably one of the worst indirect fire units in the game, and for its cost, which is probably it's quite expensive at 270. I'd probably rather an Austin mortar than the LEIG, to be honest. Yes, it can get veterancy, but it just takes so long to do damage and get some wipes. I don't think it does very well. If we watch this unit's entire game, I don't think it does very well. And so I believe in the later stages of the game, I think I back tech to get a Stuka out because that's a lot more reliable, wiping squads. But since I've already gone for tier 2, I need an indirect fire unit. Especially, I might even be able to use a smoke. I don't think I use smoke barrage this game, but I could use it against the Maxim to push in with my Volks and flank potentially.
Can I just? So I mean, at the moment you are triple capped. You are quite pushed back on the map, actually. What are the struggles at the moment? You've just seen the KV1, but before this we haven't seen the KV1. What are the struggles that you've been up against so far? Like what's contesting you?
So if we look at the unit count between each side, in the early game I was doing well because I had the unit advantage. But as it's been progressing, he's gotten a guard squad. He's got another machine gun out. He has a lot more core infantry units than I have. I've got 5 and a machine gun, and he's got that that guard squad. I think he's gonna, and he's got the famed 2 engineers as well, which are not bad combat units in their own right. So I feel like that's probably why I've been pushed back at the moment. He has the advantage in terms of infantry. Actually, since I've got it's 9 CPs, and I've realised that it's it's going to be too late until I can get a panther with a command panther out. So I'm actually going to build a panther straight away from my Schwer instead.
Well, we just saw the Raketten, by the way, go down in the building by the munitions.
Yeah, that was a bad play from myself. Then I probably, I knew his Raketten, the KB1 and so I was hoping to get in, get a couple of shots out and get out of there. But I hadn't banked. I didn't know the Regard Squad was there, and he got a quick grenade and took my unit out before. So that was a bad idea. I should have scouted ahead. But here comes my Panther now, and I'm charging right in because I'm pretty sure the Zisgun is probably still in the south because he hasn't moved it the entire game. However, there it is. But I've already managed to get a foul stop, so I'm going to go for this. I'm just going to go flank round, take it out, get past the Zisgun's line of fire. We've also just retreated a guard squad and I think one of the conscript squads. So I haven't got to worry about an AT grenade just at the moment.
Yeah, I see. And this is good by there because it's good because you're using the flak half track and trying to get the suppression off there. I can see that. So lots of work going on. And worried about that AT gun, but it looks like you got the Volks grenadiers. It was good.
Yeah, hoping, trying to use the Volks to try and clear that anti-tank gun before that Zisgun takes me out. Unfortunately, Panther misses an easy shot then, even if I was stationary against the KB1. So I decided just to be safe and Faust it to finish it off and pull the Panther back so I don't take any more damage from that Zisgun. Because, we only required one more Faust to get rid of it. So that's a great win for me there. The KB1's down, I've not lost anything, so I'm just going to pull back, repair, and try and recap. I see the Zisgun with the Cougar wagon, so I'm just going to back away because I don't want to get obviously killed by the Zisgun. And my Sturms are straight on the repair duty on that Panther. Now, I could have gone for the Command Panther, but it would have been a little bit late.
Right.
So that was that party,
Yeah.
And at this stage of the game, I think this Panther is still, a standard Panther compared to Command, but it's still pretty decent. Let me just see the cost price as well. It's a little bit cheaper as well, so I could afford it then. And I feel like I needed it then.
I feel like OKW nearly doesn't have the benefits of a commander the same way some other factions do. Do you know what I mean by that? So it's like some factions you get like radio intercept at the start of the game, or you get like munitions drops or whatever. I don't feel like OKW gets much other than just like the occasional unit like Fallschirmjäger or Panzer Fusiliers. So it's really interesting because I see a lot of players playing OKW who just don't pick commanders. We're 22 minutes into the game, and it's like, does anything have a benefit to you right now to help with these situations?
I mean, I could have gone for like the Panzer Fusiliers or the Fallschirmjägers, but really, like Panzer Fusiliers, that's the only really good thing you get from that commander. You're not going to get the Jagdtiger out because it's just crap, in a 1v1 situation. You can't, slow. It's not, it's like. Imagine like I was saying with the Zisgun, it can only be one place at one time, right? So it can either be in the north or the south, and only you can cover one VP, and your opponent could just swap tanks and you'll be done, especially with marked target as well. So that's that's a useless ability in a 1v1. I mean, the Panzer Fusiliers, on the other hand, in my opinion, the best infantry in the game. They're 6-man squad, G43s, great utility with being able to AT grenade crit vehicle, normal grenade, and a flare to spot for indirect fire and just know where enemy units are. Breakthrough tactics is also fairly nice, but not amazing. I mean, the only real commander is Special Operations Doctrine, because at least you get the infiltration grenades, which you can use straight away, allowing you to quickly to clear support weapons and maybe blobs that are pushing forward in a tight alleyway. You've got the STG package, which you can put on your Obers in the late game, so that's great. Artillery flares again, which is spot, and a Command Panther, which you haven't got a tech to, which is going to be your get out of jail free card to try and deal in the late game. So you haven't, so if you've not been able to have enough fuel to build your Schwer, you can have that to come and help you out in a sticky situation.
Yeah, I have always thought this is a great commander. I don't feel like enough people use radio silence. I love radio silence actually, because it just causes so much confusion during engagements for enemy players. I'm actually I would love to see more people use it consciously, because I think it's such an underused ability. And also, I think for anybody that's playing Soviets and has when armored assault tactics, for instance, with radio intercept has been a thing, it cuts that, so you can hide your build orders a little bit. And so many things like that I just don't see played enough. But anyway, another question I wanted to ask was about Kolodny Firma as a map, just while we watch these engagements unfold, because it's pretty standard right now. I mean, what do you think of this map for OKW? You know, what do you think OKW plays well?
I don't think this map for OKW is pretty decent because it's quite easy to control the north-hand side with the barbed wire cutting off. You've only got that, you know, that one real alleyway that they can really flank around that north side with. And then the middle's quite open to try and hold, so they can fight you from multiple angles. But because that house is it's got so many windows on it, you know, one Volk squad in there can, you know, pretty much cover the whole side. And a machine gun on that backside wall there, as I have one at the moment, has pretty much complete vision of that area to be able to cover it. So yeah, it's quite easy. I feel like, you know, you can control your territory and those two VPs quite easy as OKW. Now, on the other hand, playing on the right side,
that wall clumps your units up that way.
yeah. Hopefully, you know, that won't be a problem at some point in the near future. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll see if it ever gets patched. But I mean, I think you can actually position it. I think I'm just looking at the dots now. I think it's possible to position the MG without actually having them clumped up.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Though having them all clumped up enables you to be good against infantry, but you know, like the Zizgun barrage has already taken it out once, so I probably should have learned my lesson and probably unclumped it, to be honest. So there we have an Issue-85 that's appeared out. I'm thinking, okay, well, how do we deal with the Issue-85? And now I'm getting a Jagdpanzer out. I feel like my infantry is strong enough, and my flak half-track's got the north-hand side covered, so I can deal with any infantry pushing in. We've just wiped, I believe, a squad of infantry at some point. We wiped one of these Volksgrenadiers and the flamethrower, so I've done, you know, and I've not lost any infantry myself, so I know I'm doing really well on the infantry front on this side, at this point in the game. And also my Volks are getting more and more veterancy. So I'm getting stronger and stronger with the infantry. So now, but the problem here is the tanks. I need to be able to counter his tanks. And as long as I survive his tank rushes and the T-34 or the KV-1 rushes, I should be pretty decent. And that's why I decided to go for the Jagdpanzer, because it complements the Panther quite well, and it will be able to, you know, be more than a match for an Su-85.
Yeah. So I just noticed that you were using detection on the Kubel. I just want to point that out. I think this is a great ability if you get the Kubel to Veterancy 1. Actually, the range that you're detecting infantry is really far across the map, and I always say this about OKW, it's like the stealth faction of the game. It's, you know, all the sneaky stuff belongs to OKW. People don't utilize that enough, but you're using this, and you can see the exact positions, you can see the T-guns, you can see all this really, really useful information, which I think is really good to point out to people what that is if they're not using it. So you got by the way, I thought this was weird to call the IL-2 here.
I guess he was worried about losing. You know, he had. I was trying to flank round and try and take out his Maxim in the south side VP, and I think he wanted to pop that because he was worried about getting overwhelmed. It's also worth noting with my Panther, I crushed that whole hedgerow there, which allowed, you know, trying to open up my Raketten's line of fire against enemy vehicles in that area, making it easy to fire. So that's why I crushed that with the Panther. And same thing with the Jagdpanzer. The Panther has you know, an easy line of fire as well. Doesn't got to worry about missing.
Yeah. I'm just going to highlight that. So yeah, all this hedgerow here taken down for the purpose of sight. Yeah, as we spoke about before, huge sight lines for the MG and things. So okay, this is good. And just watching your tank play. Are you ground attacking here at all?
And then I decided, let's go for the issue, because the T-34 was engine critted. I thought it'd be a good idea to push it. However, that T-34 does get a nasty rear armor hit in there. I thought he would have reversed back a lot more because he was worried about losing it. So I know I've received main gun crit, but fortunately I'm on a road so I can reverse super fast away and get out of there. But that was a little bit scary, admittedly, and I probably should have played that engagement a little bit better. Or maybe have gone around and try and push around the side there to take out the T-34 as it was repairing around the north side VP, so the middle VP, and then cross that hedgerow just to the north of the munitions point around the back, rather than go straight in against the Su-85. My original plan was, the T-34 was damaged, so I could probably push against it, but I wasn't expecting him to bring back that unit into the fight.
There's still no commander pick. I find this interesting, actually.
Well, I haven't picked the Command Panther yet because I've already got a Panther, and I might want an anti-infantry vehicle now. I feel like my armor, units is very good. I also moved up the rocket and then to get a nice sneaky couple of shots in against the T-34, so push that back, which is quite nice.
Well, one of the questions I have for you is actually about your loadout in general. So, the 3 commanders you've gone for: Breakthrough Doctrine, you've gone for Special Operations, and you've gone for Proper Ground Forces. So, and if I see kind of a player that doesn't pick a commander, in my head I'm thinking, do you have a loadout that actually, maybe has something for a game like this, where you have a very strong generic composition, without relying on commanders? Like, do you have anything that can add to that? So, I mean, like, explain your commander choice. Like, are you happy with it? Would you change anything based on this?
Well, I've decided to go for this commander choice now because I want to get those grenades for my Volks, and I want to be able to get STGs on an open squad because if I can afford to get that unit out. That's why I decided to go for that at the moment. I mean, I didn't choose this command. I didn't choose a command until really late because I was thinking maybe I might want to get Fallschirmjägers instead, and maybe I want to have 7 up munitions to use the airborne assault ability. So I have a Stuka that can support my my tank pushes as well. Fortunately, I lose line of sight here of that Ziz gun, so I couldn't finish it off.
Well, it's unfortunate. Yeah, I can see you're great attacking it there.
I probably should have kept on chasing it there.
Would you still, at this point, rate the 3 commanders that you loaded in with as your ideal commander choice for
I'd probably, I don't know, I haven't chosen the Panzerfusilier commander in a long time, even though it's been on my loadout for a long time. I probably would have probably should swap that for, I can't remember the name of the commanders off the top of my head, I just know the abilities in them. But the commander that has the S personnel mines, I think they're called, those, but the S mines.
Fortifications.
Fortification commander, and the Pack 43, and I think it has the LEFH as well.
Yeah.
In that commander, that would have been quite nice because, Pack 43 could be, quite, maybe on this map could be quite good against holding because it's quite difficult to flank around. So there's all the shot blockers and even movable objects. You've got the hedgerows. Some of the hedgerows you can't be crushed, and the cliff faces, so you can't really flank around quite effectively on this map, in my opinion. Yeah. And then you've got, instead if you don't want to go for the Stuka, you could go for the LFH, and also the S minefields can help you lock down sectors a lot quicker.
Just watching your ISG nearly get tripped up on its own mine. We'll lose that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Push it forward, too forward there.
So I noticed that you brought the mechanized regiment on, and you've instantly got the repair pioneers on there.
Yep.
So that, I guess, is just because you've just got the 1 stern pioneers. Maybe you wanted to do something with those, and looking for something you can just easily reverse your vehicles.
Yeah, definitely. I think because I'm kind of pop capped at the moment, and I've got 2 tanks as well. I thought it'd be a good idea to get extra repairs on the field, especially because I know he's got quite a few armored units, and I'm going to need to repair my units a lot faster here. Fortunately, I got that mine down in the mid there, so that T-34 couldn't push in. So he did manage to get control of that house. So I think I'm going to lose that rocket in there. I tried to blitz. Yeah, this is a bad play from me. I'm trying to be a bit greedy now. I'm trying to push in. I stopped there for some reason. So they actually can get a shot at me, and I want to try and take out that damaged T-34 that hit the mine. And I'm trying to get away there as quickly as possible. But he gets a really, I think you use attack round then to get a long-range attack on that unit and take my Panther out. So that was a bad trade from me, losing my Vetsu Panther just to kill that T-34. I didn't need to make that play either. I just thought I had an opportunity then. And I went down the middle. I could have gone around the side, I could have gone around the back. Where the abandoned league is, I could have taken my Panther down that route and avoided getting shot by the Ziz guns. So I was a bit careless, a bit greedy, and that's just generally, whenever I will lose games is when I'm just, the same with everybody really,
Yeah.
As soon as you get a little bit careless, one moment that you decide to make a silly mistake and you're punished for it. So,
well, Hans,
having lost the Panther,
you've got your artillery flares, your non-counterable intel. Oh, did you just lose your MG there?
Yeah, he got another really lucky Ziz gun first shot to take my MG out in the south. So that's unfortunate. So I've just lost my Vet machine gun. So I'm a little bit worried at the moment because I'm thinking, oh god, I've just lost my Panther. Now my machine gun's dead. I'm pretty trying to rush those Volks on the left-hand side to go capture that machine gun back. Bringing my flak gun in the north over here just to try and... I know he's got the Ziz gun in the middle, but I'm going to try and use max range on it just to try and get a little bit of damage done.
Okay. And I mean, this, whilst all of this is going on, I think you know what this gun is now at this point, but be careful of those sneaky barrages. But I mean, you're already one game down at this point, so obviously there's a lot of tension. You don't want to go out in the opening round here. And, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, I actually wasn't casting this, but I'm nervous watching it now, even though I know the result. What do you perceive as like problems for you right now? What do you need to get back, and very quickly, to get back on the front foot?
I need a mobile anti-tank unit to take out his armor. I feel like my infantry. I've got 4 Vet 5 Volks now, so my infantry is still pretty good. I definitely need to get that machine gun back in the south gun because I need 2 suppression platforms. One to be able to control. I've got the flat gun that's my only suppression platform at the moment, which can quickly go north or mid. But I need another one to try and control the south side VP. So that's why I want that machine gun alive. And also I just need I'm just trying to save up for the Command Panther here again because I know I need this unit to help me out a lot. I think he used attack. He destroyed the machine gun in the south as well with the Ziz gun, so I can't recruit, which was really annoying. So I couldn't recruit that back up.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just trying to think here. What I know would also like a Stuka at this point as well. So actually losing the machine gun isn't so bad because if you look at my population, I think once I get a Command Panther, I'm pretty much fully pop capped. So I'm probably going to need to lose something to be able to get Stuka out as well. So
okay,
it's a bit of a shame.
So that's what I mean. Command Panther's here now. You've gone straight in for that. I mean, that's I love special operations Command Panther. I think it's sexy. Even the camo is fantastic on this thing.
Yeah, it looks very good.
That's obviously the choice, to replace this. So the good thing, I mean, you've got all the 3 tiers up, so you do have that kind of flexibility to get whatever you need. I mean, were you actually thinking of Stuka at this point?
Yes, I was definitely. I wanted to get the Stuka next if I hadn't lost that other Panther. But I felt like I would have to lose a couple of units to be able to afford that. I can't have, the Panther. I'm an 88 population cap at the moment. And the Stuka's 12. I can afford it right now. I can't reinforce my squads fully, though, if I do that. So I probably should just throw away the league, to be honest, because it's done nothing for me all game, really. It's probably been the worst investment for me. And, I probably should just destroy it on purpose so I can free up enough pop just to get the Stuka out. And I think then that would be like kind of the perfect composition, and to have a Raketan as well, just as a backup.
Talk me through this on the right-hand side at the moment. So... you've only got the 1 VP right now, 2 Su-85s on the right, and you're going in the Volks for scouting. Is this the...
Yeah, the Volks are pushing forward to give my Jagdpanzer line of sight. Using the flak gun in the far north to flank, because I see he's camping behind that cover there. And so I'm using the flak gun around right in the north to flank around and try and get the shots in. That's I know it's gonna bring out the Su-85 to push quite dangerously forward. So then I pop in the mark target with the Command Panther and then try and rush in quickly and push forward. I'm quite lucky here that he hasn't got the Ziz gun anywhere nearby, because he's got that in the south. Get a nice max range shot there to finish off the Su-85, and then I'm just going to back away. I feel like this is the moment where ICAB makes a very crucial mistake because he feels like to make a play here, but he pushes in against that and it takes 2 nasty shots, and then I come in with a Volkswagen in the rear to finish it off with a Faust, and I think it's pretty much GG here. He's lost 2, he's lost those 2 invaluable units, and here come my Volks to clean up the rest of the units, and I can just safely reverse the rest of my units back and repair them up.
So it's a decisive engagement, definitely, on this game. That was well handled, actually. You know what, I have to say it though, like how often do you get to see the Panther and the Jagdpanzer 4 hit all the shots in a row?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I got a lot of accuracy there with the units. Primarily because they were stationary that time round, rather than me pushing forward. I made sure this time to stop before I fired the units to get that extra accuracy off. I could have, with that Panther, I could have gone a lot more further forward to try and chase the Su-85. If that next shot hadn't finished that Su-85, I wouldn't have given the chase to that. I would have just backed up, I thought. I would have. And probably brought the Raketan to the north just to defend against probably the T-34 pushing in as well. But yeah, that was fortunate. Now I've taken that really good win there. I'm just going to, pull back, regain control of the resources that I've lost. and also getting myself out an Ober squad. Since I know I'm quite, I decided to get an Ober squad out because I'm a little bit away from getting the Stuka out, and I decided to get that unit out instead. Make use of my commander finally, and get some SGGs on these units.
We are 40 minutes into this game. We're finally making use of Special Operations Doctrine.
To be honest here, I think if I'd lost the Kuba Wagon, I think I'd lose the Kuba Wagon now. And if I lose the LIG, I probably still could afford the Stuka. I mean, let me just quickly check how much population cap is a LEIG. That is 7. So yeah, if I lost the LEIG, I would still be able to afford a Stuka, and I probably should, because it's not doing anything. 1 kill, missing nearly every shot. Now looking back, I wasn't thinking about this at the time, because most players never want to forcefully lose units. But the Kuba Wagon really wasn't doing much for me, especially now I have the artillery fairs, which I can just drop and reveal targets anyway, so I don't need the vehicle detection. And the LEIG, like I say, the LIG's not doing much. And now I have enough fuel to be able to afford that.
So is that really, I mean, because I thought that the Kuba infantry detection was really quite good, actually, given that it's resource free.
Yeah.
But I mean, so what, you don't value that in the
I would rather having a Stuka out over ability, sure.
Right.
And if one good Stuka barrage will definitely win me the game here, especially if I manage to take out, because I know I've taken out all his tanks pretty much now. If I take out the Ziz gun, my tanks have got free reign. Apart from a couple of AT grenades, and they're not going to be able to take down a Panther, quickly. He's going to need a lot of munitions to do that. So that's definitely what I need. I'm also creeping forward, cloaked Jagdpanzer in the middle here.
Yep. Tell me about the way that you're approaching this, because you don't know if there's mines there. So are you conscious of this?
Yeah. Playing a little bit of a risk here, though. I've been kind of having my Raketans around this area a lot. Seen him with engineers planting mines over here, and we've already, with a fat half truck earlier, I bombarded that area. So he didn't plant mines, early. So why would he plant mines late? Is the kind of thinking behind that, because he's not done it first time round.
So yeah, that's interesting. So I think one thing for people to take, and I've seen a lot of players where mines go off a lot in the start of the game, and then suddenly that player is like, okay, well I can't move out without having a minesweeper anymore. That because it's just the risk is too high. So I mean, you didn't see him plant mines, so you're confident that
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you again, I'm taking a bit of a risk, but I feel I can take that risk because I haven't seen him. Now I removed the camo so I can get in there quickly to get the shot off to finish it. I know this gun was in the north, so I know I can make these plays as well. As we saw it earlier in the north, so I thought I could push in there, take out his next vehicle. And I'm just going to keep getting stronger and stronger, but because he can't keep replacing these vehicles. I've got VP control, so he's going to have to do something amazing to be able to come back into this game now. This guy managed to find my Vet 3 black gun, but I managed to quickly pop smoke and reverse out there before he gets another shot on. And here comes the last player of the game at the moment. I believe ICAB is going to try and see if he can take out my Schwer in the north. And I need to react quickly here to stop him destroying it. I'm surprised he's just, with only 68 VPs left, he's focusing on that rather than going for VPs is a bit questionable. But I'm rushing in with Vox here to try and see if I can grenade it and destroy it. He's dropping fighters in the sky. So I jump in the house to avoid getting suppressed and pinned. Because once you're in a house, you won't receive any suppression effect will get removed quickly.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm lobbing a cinder grenade out there. Also, I'm rushing in the Panther here, and I'm using it as a shield against this gun. As you watch it, I run in there just in the critical time to take that shot.
That's really impressive.
To avoid this gun finishing off the Schwer. So I'm keeping it there to take the shot.
Right, okay. Well, that really was a save then.
Yeah. He tries again. Not happening. I've got my infantry there. I know I can take that because I know he's not going to issue 85s nearby. I'll just kill this next this last vehicle. I know that fuel is invested into a T-34, so I'm safe there. And now I've got the Panther can easily just one-tap that thing down. I'm also going to constantly grenade this thing. I'm safe to push forward. My flak half truck is there as well. Finish it off. Lob the grenades in. And that's pretty much GG. Also got the Jagdpanzer on the south side, getting some side shots in against that T-34. I think it managed to get one off at least.
It's been a great unit this game, actually. But,
Yeah, it's paid off for me. It's only got 1 kill, but it's done. You know, it's got veterancy too. It's done the damage, and I think it gets the last shot in there, and that's all she wrote. I'm pretty sure.
There we go. GG called by ICAB, and yeah, it was a really interesting game actually. I think a lot of things to take there from OKW. A lot of points such as with the battle group and the flak half track and the choke points in this map, the sight lines. Hopefully everyone's got a lot to learn from this. Just a quick one before we close out, Hans. What's your favorite faction to play at the moment in Company of Heroes?
I feel it's a hard question. I feel like OKW are most confident at the moment. It used to be Brits, but Brits are having a hard time this current meta, especially against mobile defense, since they lack AT, non-doctrinally AT grenades. The only faction to lack AT non-doctrinal grenades or ability like that to be added. But yeah, I feel like OKW have if you manage to survive the early game and get into the late game, you'll have sorry, there's a bit of beeping in the background.
Yeah, sorry, it's my oven.
You have the Vet 4 and Vet 5 veterancy, which can carry you through, as indicated by that game I lost against Talisman in GCS. I mean, I was doing really well in the early game, but he dragged things out, and I wasn't able to clinch the deal on any of his armored vehicles, and I ended up losing the game because I just couldn't compete with the veterancy. It doesn't matter how good of a player you are, if you don't seal the deal against OKW and make those trades and wipe that veterancy off those units, you will lose the game. Unless you've done really well to drain the VPs and you've managed to clinch a VP win, you're not going to win, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also feel like USF is very strong as well. I mean, the most people in GCS right now are playing Soviets, not many people playing USF. I feel like USF has, got the tools needed to do very well.
Yeah, this is interesting actually. Whilst you're on this point, somebody posted on CoH2.org the actual win-loss statistics for factions playing against each other. If everyone's watching this at a later date, right now it's the 20th of June 2018, so this may not apply forever, but actually USF has the most favourable outcome against Austere, and I'm assuming people are using mobile defense. Soviets just a little bit behind. So maybe actually USF players get a bit more of an advantage there.
I feel like in future I'm definitely going to be playing Brits versus OKW. I don't know. I did win versus Tasman as USF on Fayetteville Approach, and that's probably why I chose, because I had VP'd and I chose the USF again on Crossroads, thinking I'd get an easy win again. And that was a bad mistake, in my opinion. I think he might have learnt from that first loss, and I probably should have chosen Brits, because I feel like Brits are the counter to OKW, and I don't know why I didn't. I just felt like I've probably had a lot of mishaps lately with Brits. I've not had much success with Brits lately, so that's why I've been trying to get USF to work. But I probably should just stick to my guns and choose Brits versus OKW. And you're probably thinking, why does Brits have the advantage over OKW? Well, their veterancy in the late game, and they have the vehicles needed in the late game to tango with the veterancy of the Axis. I mean, you've got the Firefly, you can do that tulip rockets, which will get the stun off, which will enable you to finish that tank off, from long range, where USF haven't really got that ability. I mean, they have the Jackson, yes, but it doesn't have a stun, a stun ability. Also, you've got the sniper as well. The OKW can't counter snipers effectively at all. And you can constantly pick away at the enemy infantry and not, bleed them, and you can retain your manpower advantage. Cromwells are cheap as well. Unlike a Sherman, they're a lot more. I feel that they're a lot faster. They're more kind of a throwaway unit, and you can probably rush in and take out Stuka if you need to. Whereas a Sherman is a bit more of an investment. They cost the same amount of, I think the Sherman costs a little bit more fuel. But it's
the Sherman's 110, and the Cromwell I think is 115 or 120. I think.
The Cromwell's now 110.
Okay.
Why am I thinking the Sherman? I feel like the Sherman's 140. Why am I thinking that? It's not.
That's the Easy 8. It's 145, I think. And the Jackson's 125, I think.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
I could be pretty wrong about that.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, I think like the Sherman needs. Is just slower, and you have to change those rounds over as well. Whereas the Cromwell, you don't have to worry about that. I feel like, and also the canister round is really nice as well. The Cromwell has, which you can quickly get off, and it hasn't got much delay on it. Whereas the Sherman one has to fling in the air, and it's got a bit of a delay before it lands. Last thing as well, the Comet. You know, you can get the Comet out into the late game, which is a very good tank against enemy tanks as well, and not too bad against infantry. Whereas, you know, USF only if you have to rely on the Pershing, and then you're forced to go for that commander as well. If you haven't gone for Pershing, you've only got Jacksons into the late game, which is really your only answer, and they die really quickly still, and they've got no hope in hell against dealing against cloaked Rickettans.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like USF are struggling, that their late game is the weakest, probably out of most factions. I would say, yeah, I think USF late game is the worst, unless you go for a Pershing. Yeah.
Right. That's interesting. Well, okay. Hopefully, then we get to see some more Brit play from you. We didn't see loads of it actually in the opening qualifying rounds of GCS, but hopefully we do get to see more of that. Okay, I mean, I think that's it. So for anybody that doesn't already know Helping Hands, who are you? What are you doing? And probably welcome to Company of Heroes. Helping Hands is one of the game's leading streamer and celebrity. So if you guys want to check him out, there will be a link in the description, but it is twitch.tv/Helping Hands. You can see his name in the bottom left of the screen right now. Hans, you got a Twitter? Is there anywhere else you want people to go check you out?
Yeah, I mean, I got a Twitter. I have a Steam group as well. So if you follow me on Twitter and on my Steam group, you will know I always post on those feeds whenever I go live, so you'll never miss a stream. Yeah, I've got Discord as well. If anyone wants to pop in and ask for any, if you've got a question you want to ask me in person, you can always send me a message and on Discord or whatever, and I'll be happy to answer your question. I try my best to answer any of questions on YouTube as well. I have my own YouTube channel, and people ask questions on there, and I try and give replies there to anyone who's got questions about Company Heroes 2 strategies and tactics. So yeah. Oh, and one last plug, if I may. For those of you who are new at Company Heroes 2, I have on my YouTube channel, I do have a very good tip of the week series, about 20 or so. And I highly recommend checking those videos out if you are new, because it will give you a lot of information that isn't, you're not told in the game's like campaign stuff. You will not know this information unless you watch these videos or have watched players play in the past. So go check that out. It's got tips on like how to, why you should use mines, what's the benefit of using smoke, attack, why you should be using attack ground, and those kinds of things. So if you want advice there, go check out those videos.
Okay, brilliant. Well, guys, you know what to do and where to go. I hope you've enjoyed this episode 2 of the Masterclass series. There will be plenty more to come. And thank you very much, Helping Hands, for round 2 of this. Fingers crossed.
You're welcome. Hopefully it saves this time around.
All right, thanks again, and see you soon, everybody.